each other through it. Come on and see, good movement draws good movement.
Welcome to Good Movement Draws Good Movement, the podcast where farmers, ranchers, and rural folks can grow relationally through awareness, understanding, and effective communication. Hey, it's T. I'm your host, and I, along with my guests, will be covering topics related to drawing good movement. Things like self and social awareness, brain science, positive psychology, extending grace, and so much more. We'll share tools that can help you understand why you are the way you are, why others are the way they are, and how you can use that to step out of self-told lies with grace and compassion to draw good movement in conversations, relationships, and life in rural America. Let's go draw good movement. Welcome back to the Good Movement Draws Good Movement podcast. About a month ago, the week of Halloween, we talked on the podcast about the Four Horsemen of the relationship apocalypse. Those being criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. And after that episode came out, I had a couple of listeners reach out via DM and talk to me specifically about stonewalling, but it inspired this whole episode. Because they were saying, like, I know that I'm a stonewaller and I cannot stop myself. One person even said, when this specific individual starts talking to me, the stones start going up and I shut down. And I don't know why that is. I know I do it. I don't know what to do about it or why it's happening. And so today I want to talk about all four of the horsemen and what may have happened to cause you to revert to those or to default to those horsemen. So we are going to dive into each one with compassion and curiosity and learn maybe why we respond in that way or react in that way. Starting first with criticism. Criticism is the voice that learned to protect through control. The core need behind criticism is safety through certainty or improvement, or again, controlling the situation. So you might choose criticism if you grew up in a home where love or approval or affirmation, affection was performance-based, i.e., good grades, good work ethic, doing the right thing. If this is how you grew up, you may have learned that the way to be noticed or to avoid trouble or punishment was to get things just right and or find and point out problems before others did. Or maybe you grew up having criticism modeled for you. Sort the right steer or get out of the sort alley. The feedback was blunt and quick and harsh, and that tone has now carried over into your adult communication because we're humans and humans learn best through imitation. So if that's what was being modeled for you, maybe that is where you picked it up. And criticism often comes from fear. If I can fix this, if I can point this out, then I can relax. Then I will be safe. Criticism isn't really about what's wrong with the other person or wrong with the situation. It's about our own fears, anxieties, helplessness in the moment. Moving on to contempt. Contempt can be thought of as the armor of superiority that hides deep, deep hurt. The core need behind contempt is protection from shame or powerlessness. Someone who defaults to contempt may have grown up being belittled or mocked, and therefore learned to get there first by belittling others. They may have experienced chronic disappointment or betrayal, leading to cynicism. So, don't get your hopes up because people will just let you down. In our rural culture, the pride we take in toughness and independence can easily morph into contempt for weakness, especially when it comes to emotional expression. Like, that is not a very far leap from the pride we take in toughness and independence to contempt for perceived weakness or people who express emotion. And contempt, though, is a cover for pain that feels too risky to show. And by too risky, I mean not safe to show. Contempt says, if I feel above you, I can't be hurt by you. But it always costs connection. And if you lose connection, that is hurt. Because as humans, we are designed for connection with other humans. Connection is so important to our well-being. So that protection of contempt, while it may have served you at one time, is not a long-term solution for healing the hurt inside. Moving on to defensiveness. Defensiveness is the protector that learned it's not safe to be wrong. The core need behind defensiveness is safety and self-preservation and or belonging. If defensiveness is your go-to horseman, maybe you grew up in an environment where mistakes were a punishable offense or where context and explanation didn't change outcomes because I said so. It didn't matter the nuance. It didn't matter what happened, the backstory. It was not okay to make mistakes. So maybe you learned that admitting fault equals rejection, punishment, humiliation, disconnection, abandonment. And maybe you grew up in a home where there was high value placed on personal responsibility. So defensiveness may stem from shame that you felt around not pulling your weight. Defensiveness often hides a deep fear of being misunderstood or unseen. Again, if mistakes were a punishable offense, of course you're going to be defensive and try to displace blame because you don't want to be punished. In a home life where mistakes aren't allowed, it's easy to see why someone might revert to defensiveness. Defensiveness isn't arrogance. It's fear masquerading as justification. Stonewalling. Now we are at Stonewalling. Stonewalling is my go-to horseman. Stonewalling is the horseman that inspired this episode, and it is the shutdown that started as survival. The core need behind stonewalling is emotional safety and regulation. If you too are a stonewaller, it's possible that you grew up in a home where emotions weren't modeled or conversely were explosive, so silence was safer. Maybe you grew up the peacekeeper child who learned that withdrawing prevented conflict. Spoiler alert. It didn't actually prevent conflict. It only postponed it to come out at a later date, maybe years or half a lifetime later. Physiologically, though, stonewalling often means that our nervous system is flooded. We are emotionally overwhelmed. We are in sympathetic nervous system state, meaning our heart rate may be elevated. Our body is in freeze because it's not safe to move or speak, or even really sometimes it feels unsafe to even be where you're at. Stonewalling is not indifference. It's, again, a system overload. You are overwhelmed by emotion. Your nervous system is in sympathetic and you're frozen. The body is saying, I can't take it anymore. So we've now gone through possible causes for reverting to each of the four horsemen of the relationship apocalypse. And if any of this resonated with you, if any of the causes of the horsemen struck a nerve or gave you a little twinge in your tummy, pay attention to that. Reflect on that, because that could be the thread that you pull to start eliminating the horsemen from your responses in communication. If you can go back and recognize what has happened to cause you to respond in that way, you can begin to heal those woundings caused by what happened. Again, these patterns, they once helped us to survive. They once served us. They were boundaries, maybe not very healthy boundaries, but they were all we knew. So again, they helped us to survive, but they're no longer serving us anymore. And so if you want to dive deeper into this and you are not really sure where to start, I just want to extend this invitation for you to reach out to me. You can click the link in the show notes and schedule a free 30-minute consult call, and we can talk about it. We can discuss what it looks like for us to work together on a longer term basis. But the first step is really awareness and recognizing what may have happened to cause you to choose one of these four horsemen. And with that, until next time, draw good movement. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm so grateful for you. If you found value in this episode, I'd love for you to share with others who might also benefit from tuning in. Share by word of mouth, send it in a text, take a screenshot and post it on social media, or share however you prefer. And if you haven't already, hit the follow or subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Until next time, draw good movement.